Stop riding. Come here. Please.
So then you flip it over, and you take a chunk off of this side.
Okay. And nothing really else grabs the same as that copper, does it?
No, I mean, you can do the
It's got
same
the-
thing with this guy.
Yeah, I've seen them do it with the antler tips, but it just seems like that copper's got a lot more like control.
Right.
It seems it fractures.
Yeah.
Cleaner.
See, and one of the things is because it's a softer metal,
Yeah.
so it grabs the
Yep.
edge, but it's strong enough to push in. And one thing that was really hard for me to kind of grasp was pushing into the piece.
Okay.
Instead of pushing down into the hand,
Oh.
you're actually pushing down into the piece, trying to drive a flake across the face.
Okay.
And that's how you get them real thin.
Oh,
And,
okay.
That's kind of, I'll put it here as a little lever, and
All right.
that gives it some of that pressure going down and in. Actually,
I got you. So is it a push in and a push down kind of at the same time?
so that little lever kind of gives you that push in and down at the same
Okay.
time. The more you push down, the smaller chip you're going to take.
Okay.
you
So
also
when
wanna
you
watch
take
out
the
for
longer one, you get that
fuckers.
nice, super clean, like longer fracture, and you reduce the basically the blade angle.
Yeah, and that's where you're getting that bevel.
Yeah, okay.
Because the fracture, it's called conchoidal fracturing.
Yeah.
And there's three angles. Your bulba percussion, where it angles down, and then the energy is lost in the rock, and it takes another angle up.
Okay.
And the angle at the back is slightly less than the angle at the bulb of percussion.
Okay.
And that was really, whenever, like, they have some really good drawings just online, and whenever you kind of see, when you see the way that the rock fractures, you can see how it's going to act,
Okay.
and how it's going to break. Whoop.
Oh,
Just like that, man.
and it happens
This happens.
because
happens.
there's just a natural.
Just there was something in there that took the. See, so can you see how the
yeah.
that bulba percussion, instead of being in the middle, it actually started at the bottom,
Yeah.
and when it ran out, it sent that cleave going across the top.
And that wasn't really any fault of yours.
No,
Yeah.
you can't really do much about it. I mean, maybe if I didn't put as much force into it, maybe.
But still, you would create a weak projectile at that point, right?
See, and that was one thing that they've said on the net too, is even though your projectile will break, the way that the obsidian breaks, a lot of times you're going to make a new sharp edge. So if it breaks on impact, it's going to create a new edge that's still going to be able to cut.
So you still get your penetration just based on the property.
Yep,
It's not like steel where you're going to roll an edge.
exactly. Maybe we can still make something with this one.
So ultimately, when you start this process, you have something, obviously, a shape in mind.
Kind of.
Or is it it tells its own story,
It kind
I
of
guess,
goes
when
on
you
its
get going.
own, yeah.
Okay.
And whenever because like these are square. The way they grind them, they're square. So
Yeah.
you take off your edges, and then you can start to shape it how you want. You can make it real pointy. You can give it kind of a bulbar
A
look.
cut, yeah. Yep.
And that's where the kind of like the artistry comes into it, is whenever you actually taking down your edge. And hopefully I can show you a little bit, because that's the hard part, is maintaining that edge, maintaining the sharpness.
Yeah, because you're getting those micro serrations as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen when they're complete, you get ones with really super small micro serrations. Not so much a straight edge, but you get that little.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've always kind of seen on like the sharpest of points, is you want razor sharp valleys and needle
and needle points
And needle points.
on the apex of that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading on just serrations in general when it comes to just like a steel broadhead, you know, like Magnus heads, like buzz cuts and, you know, Black Hornets and stuff like that, where they have that serration. I think back in the past they believed that it, you know, I think the theory is that it caught and trapped more meat and or fat or sinew or whatever, and actually decreased your penetration, but that's not really the case.
If you don't have one, they have one. I gotta find a perfect one.
So even some of these guys right here,
Yeah.
that sucker's really sharp.
Yeah. The 1 micron, I guess, obsidian gets down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's one thing. If you're ever doing this, don't
be
just
real careful.
Yeah, don't do like a lot of that because it just fucking bounces back in your face. That shit's scary.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting a piece of that in your eye or something.
Oh shit.
So you said when you first started messing with this, you were using glass
Yeah, actually,
bottles. I saw the green glass in there.
yeah. It's
Okay.
just from and that was kind of really just practicing flaking and stuff. And like one thing, I don't know if you can tell how it's kind of little ground right there.
Yeah.
Well, one thing with whenever the glass breaks like this, it's really hard to grab an edge.
Okay,
so
so
like
you
I'll
rough
actually do it is
Okay.
and rough it up, and then that's just enough to be able to allow it to grab and throw a flake. And then one thing is too is like how it's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be able to drive a flake, you actually have to shave that down in order to give yourself that platform.
Okay.
Because like that platform's right there. Well, I'm not going right on the tip.
Yeah.
I'm actually going like right off of here.
Okay.
And then driving down.
I don't think the timetable is necessary. You have sort of timetable you want. 3 years, 5 years, 15 years.
And I think I mentioned to you before, I heard people using porcelain off of old toilets and stuff like that.
Yeah.